Hi, my name is Dushanko Dobek, and I'm here with Nette Forne Thomas. Nette is a nationally recognized artist, a Maplewood resident, and this is her 11th year in the South Orange Maplewood studio tour. Hi, Nette.
Hello, Ann. Good seeing you again.
Yeah, I'm so glad we could do this, and your work is really very complex. It's very innovative, and very distinctive. We know when we see one of your works. So I guess my first question as we look at this is that can you tell people how you decided to use this specific imagery? So what is the content and how did it evolve?
Usually in my recent pieces, I'm emulating lace. I've always been fascinated about the fact that you could make an image with threads like tapestries and lace. So I strive to make a lace overlay of my paintings and my drawings. In the earlier paintings, I actually painted lace, but then I came upon the concept of actually incising into acetate or plexiglass and then having that stand in for the lace or simulate the lace.
Now the content of your work, the thematic content, do you want to talk a little about that? Because it's very multi-layered, not just physically, but also in terms of the underlying themes, and we want to talk about that a little bit.
Well, my underlying themes usually revolve around women, women's status, the strive for equal treatment. This one, in fact, is called Smiles and Reflections of Pearl's Past. And it is indicative of the fact that women go through a lot of different challenges throughout their lives, and they still come through positive and, as I said, with a smile.
The surface treatment in your assemblages, which are very distinctive. If you see one of your works, you know it's a Nette Forne Thomas. And so that's really important, and if you could talk a little bit about how the physical layering of your work is a parallel for the contextual layering of your work.
Well, yes, because everything is not always obvious in the when you see something. The concept is not always obvious. It's usually a little more subtle. Sometimes you'll look into the work and you'll see an embryo or you'll see a male, and that is some of the symbols that evolve around womanhood. I used old remnants of frames and wrought iron pieces because it's the tie to the past and because I appreciate and like the textures and the ambience of older objects.
Now, when people come to your studio and they look at these works and there's an elegance and then, but it also is very visually arresting, what do you want them to come away with?
Well, I want them to appreciate the beauty that's around us. I had an art professor tell me once that my theme was strong, the message was strong, but the images were pretty. And he found that disturbing. I like pretty, so I want them to admire it, say it's pretty, and then look and see something else that they can walk away with.
I think that that's a really important concept because often the subtlety is a little intriguing but also a little off-putting because people don't know how to deal with the disjoint. So finally, we have one last question. What do you consider the most significant artistic achievement in your life?
Well, I think you can relate. I think the most significant achievement was being honored by the Geraldine Dodge Foundation and receiving a fellowship that said your work is important, you deserve not only recognition, but you deserve financial gain from your work. And I thought that was very significant, because it was about $7,000.
Yes. Plus the fact that if you do well, as I can attest, it really, the Dodge Foundation has been critical to the enhancement and the encouragement of artist educators, which is what we
Right.
really need for the next generation, so that they can be up here in 5 or 10 years inviting people to visit their studios.
That's
Yeah.
definitely a fact.
Okay, thank you so much, Nettie. I'm so glad
Okay,
we could
Ann.
do this.